I want to jump to 2008. You were working on then Senator Obama's presidential campaign, and you end up getting a call from the NFLPA search committee, who's charged with finding the next head or executive director of the NFL Players Association. Why didn't you initially even return the call?
The election's a month away. You're even almost allowing yourself to think about what the country might be after November and what you'd want to do.
It was an unreal time.
Unreal. You have a young man who's excited, a base. He's the first person to be in a position where we think an African American is going to become the president of the United States. And then out of the blue, you get a call and someone says that, you need to call this person back. And the first call was rather cryptic. The message I got from my assistant was rather cryptic about someone looking to see if I was interested in a new business opportunity. And at that point, the answer is no. I mean, we're on the cusp of something tremendous. If there's going to be a new business opportunity at all, it's going to be an opportunity to come back here in the city and be the U.S. attorney, and that was an exciting thought.
How long did it even take to understand what the opportunity actually was?
About a week.
Okay.
I got a call back because I didn't initially call the person back because I thought it was a headhunter looking for another law firm. And I got another call back and they said, well, no, we're interested in whether you'd want to be in the candidacy to be the next executive director of the NFL Players Association. And I went home that night, talked to my wife. Let's just say that that first conversation wasn't necessarily an enthusiastic endorsement of getting into the process of the executive director.
Was that the hardest person to win over?
She's always the hardest person to win over. But it's lasted for more than 20 years because it's based on fear. I'm afraid of her. And she generally is always right. So, we talked about it for almost another week. And it wasn't until almost 2 weeks later that I got back to him and said I'd be interested in the process.
You were a guy, only played, and it's been talked about before, only played football up until high school, lacked expertise in labor law. At that point, what did you really feel you could most bring to the position?
The first thing I talked to the search committee about was the necessity of having a plan, the necessity of the players as employees or workers understanding exactly what situation they were in and what situation they were going to be in about 2.5 years. The thing that I had done for a very long time was sitting down with corporations that were in a particularly tough situation, trying to tear the situation apart into as many minute or manageable pieces, understanding those pieces, and then putting those pieces back together in a way that you could at least come up with a reasonable and successful plan to deal with it. And that's something that, for the clients that I had in private practice, I think that's what we excelled at. And simply, for the people that I was with, my team, we sat down one day and said, let's figure this out. And figuring it out is no easy task. You're in a sport where the nature of the sport is that everybody second guesses every quarterback on Monday morning. But just like looking at a complex defensive scheme or a complex offensive scheme, what you're seeing on TV is only, maybe 1/4 of what's really going on. So we began really first trying to understand what the National Football League was. And then second, we really sat down and tried to figure out who the players and the union is. And then taking a hard look about where those two entities are, how they're sort of moving towards each other, into a conflict that's going to culminate, we thought at some point, with a lockout. But understanding each and every point of that process and trying to figure out whether or not there was a way for the players to confront it and come through the process better than where they were before.